Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Adventure Incorporated podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Anthony Reed. This is episode 148 and the 11th part of the Homecoming story arc. As we draw ever closer to Adventure March, I just want to remind you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, to join the Discord, to get all the information as it comes out. There's going to be a ton of fun stuff coming up very soon. I love Adventure March. I'm so excited to do a bunch of special extra events for you guys during the course of the month as a thank you for being a part of our community and a part of our lives. We really, really love all of you so much, and I'm very, very, very excited about it. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. It's a small thing, it's free to you, it doesn't take very long, and it helps us make the show bigger and better. By all accounts, it does have a quantifiable impact on the show, so if you can head over to iTunes or whatever service you use and leave us a 5-star review, write a little something about the show, about what you think about it, and the things you love, that helps us out. The other way you can help us out is to head over to patreon.com/adventureinc and join the 27 other people like Vespa who joined us this month to become a brand new patron. Take part in the rewards that are over there. Whole new fresh episodes. The short story Steph wrote for January was just ridiculous and hilarious and wonderful. If you missed our Tavern Night, you can check out the video for the Tavern Night. You can be a patron of any level. $1 gets you access to those Tavern Nights. So head over to the Patreon, check it out, find something that, if you want to give a little back to the show, we try to give you as much as we can. So give it a look and see if there's something there that works for you. That's all this week, folks. Let's get started. Nobles and farmers, knights and wenches, gather round to hear a tale of excitement and mystery. Brave adventurers facing grave dangers. Keth, the fighter monk.
Guys, there's a lot of puppy in this cloak. I needed to say that.
What?
Genevera, the sorcerer.
Genevera, you're sitting there next to Clyde, who just goes, "What the fuck?"
I hold up my hand for a high five.
Gebetto, the rogue.
As soon as they see the five of you, their expression hardens.
Well, we'll see you later. And Gebetto just turns.
Gillick, the paladin warlock.
But you're dying again, right? Like, you die, then you get a spirit.
And you're nothing.
And then
you become nothing.
And then you're nothing. That sounds like bullshit. Let's go kill the Death Lord.
And Asher, the druid barbarian.
Yeah, but I'm asking specifically why Jeff is important to Asher.
He's just the first name. You know what? I don't have to justify this.
Let us recall what happened when we last left our heroes.
We can't stay here.
We will go find Viltroth.
He goes, "And while we're moving, you can tell me what's wrong with Klug." He opens a portal to Mughammara.
I take a deep breath and I go through.
It is a crushing weight that knocks you unconscious once more, and the last thing you hear are the whispers, "I will have you. Prepare yourselves, for this is the tale of Adventure Incorporated." So, Genevera, you step out of the portal into the basement summoning chamber of the Ritual Tower of Adventure Incorporated. You are home.
Yep. I walk slowly, like with purpose, but with nerves, up to, I guess, wherever I figure everyone's gonna be.
Okay, yeah. So you make your way out of the Ritual Tower, back through the Master's quarters, back toward the sort of the central area of Adventure Incorporated. That's where most people are going to be, sort of in that green area. If the gang's here, that's where you're likely going to find them. If not, in the central tower, or, well, knowing this group, probably the dining hall.
Yeah.
But as you step back out onto the main thoroughfare, you see a bunch of like adventurers sort of coming and going. Some of them you recognize, most of them you don't. And you see Redbridge talking with Patrick Darkheart, sort of standing in front of the central tower. They seem to be like discussing a couple of contracts that she's like holding as they go over them.
I walk in a different direction,
Okay.
away from them.
Okay. So are you headed more toward sort of the entrance of the compound, or back in towards sort of like to go behind the central tower?
Yeah, like the next guess on where my friends will be. I don't want to talk to anyone else, especially Redbridge right now.
Okay.
Which is literally the last person that I want to have a conversation with.
Okay. So you make your way toward the dining hall, I think. So there's sort of like blocking access to that central tower, which is where, a lot of the business is being held or whatever, but not really where you guys tend to spend your time. There was nobody in the master's offices, so your next guess is the dining area. You head to just outside there, and the double gate to the compound swings open. So let me ask you, Gebetto, Keth, and Asher, what sorts of things have you filled Viltroth in on in the time you guys have been traveling together? Or better yet, what sorts of things have you specifically not filled Viltroth in on? Are there things you would not want to have discussed with him? Are there things that you might have left out? Like, what do you feel like your conversations with him have looked like?
I feel like Keth would have wanted to be completely open, and
As would
not
Asher.
hold anything back. And I would have asked him more about Elatrix, but I would have told him everything that he remembered.
Yeah. Gebetto's the same. He's really hopeful this is gonna pay off. He's probably putting too many eggs in this basket. But
what the fuck?
Yeah, he's all the way. He's all the way in on Viltroth being a good guy.
I suspect while you guys are traveling, there were probably a couple of times where Viltroth said, like, put a hand up.
Hey, there's a mendicant.
No. where he probably
What
like
Keth thought he heard.
he probably like put a hand up and said, do not tell me more of what you learned of Gorm. The less I know, the less the Shadow Lord can try and access from me. So some of Gorm's plans he probably some of Gorm's plans he probably tried to steer away from. Did you tell him what he is expected, or who he might expect to see when he returns to the compound?
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely told him at least about Redbridge.
Okay.
And obviously Klug's current state of affair.
Yeah. I imagine a lot of the conversations would have been about Adventure Incorporated and where we're at and what's going on politically in the area. More, I think, than the Gorm stuff, right? I think that would have oddly taken a backseat.
So I think he's been pretty uncomfortable leading up to this.
Sure.
He is not really looking forward to returning home, but he knows that, for Klug's sake, he has to. He's been holding on to the crystal with Klug in it, attuning to it on the trip. He said he has told you that there's not much he can do here. He needs the ritual tower at Adventure Incorporated to do whatever he might be able to do with this. So that's why he's willing to go back, even though he's not really looking forward to it.
You can tell, he's like palpably nervous about this interaction. So as the four of you push open the double doors leading into the Adventure Incorporated compound, I think probably he's sort of taken up the rear of this group as you walk through the doors.
Nope. Mikey laughed. and Mikey laughed. It was funny.
We all thought it. We all thought it.
We all thought it was funny.
Yep, it was. And Mikey had the courage.
That's right.
The courage. Yeah, that's what we'll call that.
To be the first to laugh.
So you guys pass through and walk onto the main grounds of the compound. Straight ahead across from you at the central tower, at the base of it, is Redbridge and Patrick Darkheart. And Redbridge turns to look at the group as they walk through, and you just see her eyes go wide. And she says, Viltroth?
Asher immediately looks back at Viltroth because I think he started to realize Viltroth is in the back and he's blocking the way. So he's just weirdly shimmies to the right.
Yeah, I imagine it being the three of us just part in the middle, leaving just Viltroth by himself. So be faced with that.
He sort of shifts nervously. He is having a hard time making eye contact with her. He just says, "Hello, Constance." She charges forward at him, full tilt, and slams into him with a massive embrace that you can tell.
Oh, Jesus. Asher was oh, is he going to die?
Oh, God.
There was a moment where Asher was whoa, back off.
Viltroth is incredibly uncomfortable at first, but after a moment, he just sort of melts into Redbridge a little bit. You can hear her sobbing. And you hear Viltroth say, I'm sorry. She says, I was looking for you. He says, I know. And she says, I just had to keep looking. He says, I know, but I couldn't. She says, I know. And they stand there for a moment.
What else do they say?
They're just quietly standing there for a couple of moments before they sort of pull away. And she sort of turns to look at all of you, and she says, she's sort of blushing fiercely. Her eyes are watery and streaming, but so are Viltroth's.
Fiercely.
And Genevera, you do see all of this happening. You see that they have arrived and that this is happening. And Viltroth and Redbridge sort of turn to look at the rest of the group. And Redbridge
Gebetto starts clapping because he doesn't know what else to do. He's just really happy about it.
Viltroth immediately
Asher
looks at the ground.
Gebetto starts clapping because he also doesn't know what to do and is just following along.
Genevera starts crying.
Inside the compound? Or is she outside with us?
No,
She's
she
gonna
was
start
outside.
crying right where
outside.
she is.
Yeah. Viltroth just stares straight at the ground. He immediately is uncomfortable with you clapping. That is not what he was looking for in this scenario at all.
Keth says, let's go find Klug and go help him.
Yeah.
Wait,
We have Klug in the gem thingy.
wait, guys.
Right, but his body.
Genevera's gonna run towards everyone slowly.
Oh. Hey.
Slowly
Genevera?
run.
Man,
Oh.
I'm so glad to see you guys get together.
God.
I just really feel like we needed a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, it's so good to see something positive happen. God, I'm so glad to be back home. I agree, Kath. Let's make sure that we get, let's make sure we get Klug fixed up. Then we'll have 2 under our belts. This
Guys.
is awesome.
Guys, hey,
This will be good.
Oh, Genevera, you've arrived. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you'd come back.
Genevera just holds out Gillick's hammer.
Where's Gillick?
Gillick didn't make it.
He like stayed at the farm, or what?
Oh, it's
Geppetto runs up and hugs Genevera.
She cries more.
Wait. You're saying he's gone?
We went to talk to the king, and Gillick's dad was there, and so we went to talk to Gillick's dad, and Gillick blew up a half of Mariglaive, and when I woke up 3 weeks later, this was all that they found.
Blew up half of... I don't understand.
What? Also, there was blood, and he had a Shadow Lord symbol, and his gods, oh my god, his council court, Jesus, what are the gods called?
Iora?
The Divine Court.
The Divine Court.
Fine.
Not Jesus, it turns out.
Not in this dimension.
He had his Divine Court symbol and the Shadow Lord symbol, and he dunked it in a cauldron of blood. God blood, I guess.
Blood.
And,
it's okay.
and that's
Genevera.
all I remember.
So you don't, like, he might just be somewhere else. Like,
but when Asher died, this is what happened with Doonsong.
Yeah. My sword just appeared. Right? You guys said it just, like, appeared on the table you were all at.
yeah.
Geppetto just hugs Genevera harder.
Yeah. Keth goes over and just hugs them with a blank face. He's just, like, trying to figure out where he could be, like, in his head. Just like, no, he's not dead. He's somewhere.
But what? That doesn't make sense. Like, Asher's just in stunned disbelief because it's not, like, of everyone to die or he expected to die, Gillick would be, like, the last.
Hey!
He's like,
No,
no,
he's right.
but, like, in terms of, like, Gillick, he just views Gillick as, like, maybe one of the strongest and, like, the person who just, like, always seems to, like,
Endure.
things just bounce off of him. So he's just doesn't believe it in his own kind of grieving way.
So, Viltroth and Redbridge are just sort of like, as you guys are embracing. Asher, did you join this embrace?
No, he doesn't really know what to do.
I didn't think so. It felt like a weird Asher move.
Asher's he's not a hug boy. He's totally not a hug boy.
Redbridge just kind of turns and sort of puts her head down on Viltroth's shoulder, who sort of seems to be like scanning you guys with his eyes.
What?
Like in an abnormal way? Like, or in like
something
I
is
understand.
unsettling him. He sort of
Does
steps
anybody...
forward and he says, I do not mean to be crass here. I have found people do not always appreciate or understand my stepping into these matters, but if I may, could I see the weapon?
Genevera holds it out to him.
Does it still have the fire on it, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yes. He grabs the weapon.
Bonehammer.
He shudders for a moment under when he lifts Verdum.
He says, "Oh, he has fallen further than I realized. I have not done enough to protect him."
You mean, like, is he still around? What do you mean? Like,
Is he on the Shadow Lord's side? Is he just in the ley line of necromancy like I was?
Let us deal with this in a way that I think... Let us deal with our easier problem first, and then we will return to this.
I don't want to deal with our easier problem first.
There isn't. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
You are being crass.
but if there's something that we can do for Gillick, I don't care about Klug.
well, yeah.
Basically,
Catholic raises a finger, but he's like, no, I mean, Gillick is...
I'm not gonna say that. I had a thought.
Well, Genevera, I can help them both, or I can help just one. It is up to you.
Yes.
Well, don't snap at her. Don't
I
act like
have a lot
it's
on the
weird for
line with
us.
this. I am...
You have a lot on the line. We have a friend who might be dead.
Your
You need to
friend
calm
is
your
with
shit down.
the Shadow Lord. And I will take his place, if that is what I must do, to free him from that realm. I am sorry,
Fuck
Redbridge.
you, and I just take Doonsong's throw it on the ground and leave.
Okay. Viltroth just looks, he says, I am offering you to return Gillick, which I can do. I will sacrifice myself for that. If that is what must happen, I will face the Shadow Lord instead of him. I am more prepared for this. Redbridge is just like, she just turns bright red. And he says, but first, I must return Klug, because that is what I promised I would do. But I cannot do that from there. I can only do that from here.
Okay. Let's
I'm sorry.
take a
I
breath
do not
and
mean...
do this.
There are a lot of forces at work here. I have very limited time of my own mind, and I cannot put up with being second-guessed like this. If you want my abilities, then I will help you. But do not spit in my face when I offer to do so.
Hey, we're just
Asher's not there anymore, so
we're all a little on edge. If there's time to save both of them, obviously we got to do that in the order that it has to happen. Sorry.
Viltroth, we're grateful to have you back here, and you're our best chance to save Klug. So
Genevera leaves. Crying.
we appreciate it. We do. Let's do this.
Yeah, how can I help?
We must go to the ritual tower.
Gebetto turns and heads to the ritual tower.
Does Keth know where Klug's body is?
Klug's body was burned.
No, the robot body.
Oh,
I assume he means.
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably at Iron Shaper's workshop.
All right. Keth runs over and brings it. Is it?
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. And
Okay.
Viltroth slowly makes his way there too. He just turns his back to Redbridge, who does not move, and makes his way toward the ritual tower.
Yeah.
What are you doing during this, Asher?
Asher's like stormed off to like some part of the compound, and he has activated a rage. Like he's literally, if someone were to fight him, he would take less damage. He is just furious, and it's like he doesn't understand it at all, and he just finds like a wall of the compound and is just like punching it and just not really thinking and trying not to think too much.
Genevera, where have you gone?
I'm gonna go look for Evian.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that real quick. So you head over to the tower and make your way up to basically where the royalty come to stay when they visit. And it doesn't take you long, just a little bit of searching before you do find where Evian has been staying for the last week or so. Two guards sort of see you coming, and they nod to you, and they say, "One moment, please." And they turn and head into the room. After a few minutes, they step out, and they say, "Her Majesty will see you."
Thanks.
You step in, and Evian is sort of like staring over, like unpacking some things, and like there's still like stuff she's getting access to. And Evian turns and she says, "Oh, child, what's wrong?"
I'm sorry, I just got yelled at, and I really hate that, and I'm already upset. And our friend Gillick died, or I guess maybe he's not dead, maybe he's just with the Shadow Lord, but it's not my fault, and I swear it's not my fault, and we were supposed to come back together, and
"Child, come have a seat, please." And she like pulls out a chair for you next to her chair, her smaller child-sized chair, and she sort of sits you down and sits across from you.
I'm sorry, I know you have a lot of problems also, and this probably seems really dumb.
I have surprisingly few problems now, it seems.
Yeah,
there's much less demand on my
time. If you don't have a kingdom to take care of, it's a little bit of stress off your shoulders.
This friend of yours, the dwarf I met, I presume?
Yeah. Gillick.
I heard about what happened before we left.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense, because there was a big explosion. I didn't do it, no matter what anyone told you. There was a little misunderstanding there. I did not blow up half of the city.
I believe you.
Thanks.
Do you feel like they blamed you for his absence?
No, not my friends. Just this guy who says he can help, but there's another one of our friends who he can also help, and I get that, but it's no reason to yell at me about it, and God, it sounds so stupid, but like, everyone's stressed and everyone is under pressure right now, but I just, like, he wouldn't even tell us, like, if he just said the Shadow Lord has him. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't understand what that means. I don't know why he couldn't just tell us, like, that Gillick is alive or not.
I understand where you are coming from with that. It sounds like everyone is under a lot of pressure here. I cannot begin to imagine the impact that this has had on you and your friends, the burden that you carry, the weight of the world. Truly.
Yeah. And I know he's right. Like, I know that, like, from what he said, if he can save Gillick, he has to save Clug first, but I really don't like being yelled at. It just felt real bad, and I was already feeling real bad, and I don't know why I came to bother you. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. This is the part of the job I like the most. To help people when I can. And if there is anything I can do to help you, I am already in your debt. You have saved me a great deal of trouble by inviting me into your home.
Well, You had said you were gonna start trying to work on the shadow stuff, and that kind of feels like one of our big problems still right now, if that is where Gillick is, and with the Shadow Lord, that has to all be tied together. So I guess just figuring that out. Anything, I don't know.
Yes. Corruption of the blood is a bit of our specialty.
Hey, what? Can I ask you a question that's really personal? And you don't have to answer it. But
Of course.
what's it like? Like, I know that you have so much insane magic. Like, everything you can do is so amazing. And, you know, so there's so much power there. If and I don't know, like, I don't know what happened, but is it something you'd choose again if you had the choice?
Never. This was not a gift. It is a burden that I bear. One that I bear willingly, to protect my people, to serve them. But it is not a gift. It has taken from me my very essence, my humanity. I will, until someone kills me or the end of time, appear before you like this.
Yeah.
And beyond that, there are things that those of the greater races have that I have lost. I will not grow old and die. I will not find solace in whatever is beyond. And I will... There are other things the greater races enjoy that I will no longer ever experience either. I am the last of my line.
I'm sorry. That was a really personal question.
I do not mind the question, but it is a difficult place for us to be coming from when you are not wrong. There is an immense amount of power that comes with this. There is strength, and there is what is perceived as advantage. But the disadvantage that comes with it is palpable.
Yeah, I understand.
Equivalent.
Now, during the day like it is now, if I were to step too close to this window, I would burn. And as I am now, I am so much more weak than I ever would be if I were still of the greater races.
Thanks. Sorry, I don't know. Thinking a lot about death and stuff right now.
And I do not wish to undersell that there is a peace of mind that comes from my knowing that the only way that I will die is if I am hunted, which, don't get me wrong, I am hunted. But is it a choice I would ever make for myself? No. But neither do I begrudge my father, who made the choice for me.
Ha! It's sorry, it's not funny. It's just because same. I guess. All right.
If I find a way to undo what has been done to you, to take away the blood of a dragon that does not belong to you, that runs through your veins, and it took with it your strength, your power,
to cast spells. Would you do it?
No. I don't think I don't. If I don't have my magic, I don't know what I have.
Oh, as a sorcerer, that's your blood, man. That's.
What if that means you will always carry this corruption?
That's a hard question to answer when I don't know what the negatives are for me yet. I've seen what this corruption can do. I've seen what it has done. But I'm not like anyone else. That I'm not a black dragon. I'm not a dragon. So I don't know what the corruption means. I might have a different answer if half my face starts falling off, but
And I want to be clear. I don't know that is the only option.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I don't know that removing this corruption from you would do such a thing as that. But I think it is important to understand how much we value our blessings and our curses.
Yeah.
Perhaps it is with that evaluation that you can apply that to your friends as well. Try to understand their blessings and curses that they carry.
Yeah. I can do better at that, for sure.
I know you can. I don't think you've done a bad job of it.
Thanks.
From what I know.
Yeah, which isn't much, but I appreciate it anyway. I'll leave you alone now. I'm sorry. Thank you for this.
I will work on this. Like I said, I feel I owe you, and even beyond that, I think this is an important task that must be done. Since, as I said, I don't have a whole lot else going on, it feels like maybe this is the time to work on it.
Yeah, anything you need here, just ask and it's yours.
I would like to be included in discussions that pertain to the kingdoms.
Oh, yeah, about that. King Garhand, right?
Greywood.
Fuck. I should have pulled him up.
Who is Garhand, by the way?
Garhand is
King of
Emberfall.
Emberfall.
I
Okay.
can't keep those two straight. Sorry.
That's because there's an E in Greywood. And so you think Emberfall. And
It's
there's
not.
an A in Garhand.
Yep.
That's
what
not why.
That's where I'm tricked.
Right.
Tripped up.
It's like how in
See?
King Lear you think that Edgar is the good guy, but it's
'Cause-
really Edmund who's the
Mean guy.
Because
not
he's,
mean guy. Yeah, you think Edgar is good
your-
and
he's your
Edmund is
man.
mean, but like it's flipped. So, Mike, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's everybody's problem, but that's my problem.
That's my problem
Yes.
with all words.
The combination of letters and the order. Yeah.
The meanings of those letters
and decoding those, symbols.
The sounds that they make.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
The
good
associated
point.
sound to the symbol.
Right.
Yeah.
Aside from
that's
that,
what
Oh wait,
That's
shit!
what I said.
Edgar is the good guy. That's how I do remember
that's
it.
why you got it
Everybody
mixed up.
always gets
Because
it.
why you
Edgar
gotta mix
sounds
it
like a bad guy name. I can never
I
keep them
wanted-
straight,
I
just
wanted
like
somebody
Garhand
in
and
our
Greywood.
Discord. I wanted somebody in our Discord to let you up on that, Genevera.
You're right. I would. That would have been the best day ever. And I would have known who my true friends in the Discord are.
I mean,
Actually,
I can edit out what you said. Like,
because Edmund is the bad guy. Or the good. Now I don't even fucking remember.
No, Edgar is good. Gur for good.
Gur for good.
Yeah.
It's Edward, I believe.
right. And Jacob,
Yeah.
as I recall.
Good guy, bad guy.
Anyway.
That's the second time Twilight's come up today. Let's move on.
We can have a Twilight discussion goop. I'm fine with it. Goop. Discussion goop. Yeah.
Doesn't even deserve its
That's
own
my favorite
word.
magic.
I don't
item in
want to. I don't want to
Dungeons
talk about discretion
Goop.
goop at all.
No. We need to talk about this.
Nope.
Oh, I thought you said discussion goop. It's just like a magical goo that you eat,
Right.
and you just have a full conversation with your friends
Right.
in the instant.
At your own pace.
Where does it? Right.
At your own pace.
Where does this stuff come from? That's what I want to know.
Nope. All right. So Jennifer.
Okay. So Greywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. So King Greywood, we talked it out, and he also, well, clearly he let me go from being arrested for blowing up his city. But we talked a little bit, and he's coming around to the idea of working together. It took him a little bit, but he is willing to talk with you and talk with Clyde, King Harper, and if we hear from King Harriman, I know that we don't know what's happening in Ishtar right now, but he's on board. He's gonna be willing to I don't know, do whatever. I don't know what you can do, but he's willing to try with us.
I have been discussing this with my advisors. Obviously, we are in a delicate position. Kings without courts, without kingdoms, hold little power. There are still people, of course, who recognize me as the king of the land, but when that land is occupied, there's not much I can do. I certainly have little leverage to bring to bear against Victoria or Garhand, but our discussions have turned that perhaps I could be of more use if I were to swear fealty to one of the other kings.
Like Garhand or Callus?
I doubt that doing so for them would give us the leverage we're looking for.
Okay.
But if there was one among all who we would elevate to be a high king, it may provide more bargaining power for that person against those other two kings. But you would have to get everyone else to agree to that, something I think you'll have a hard time convincing Greywood of, but perhaps.
So wait, so if there was a way that the four of you decided on one high king, out of the four of you, it wouldn't matter that Callus and Garhan weren't on board?
It would still matter, but it would be much easier for that one individual. That one individual would wield a lot more power. And I suspect they would have an opportunity to sway some people. Specifically, I suspect Victoria would be a pressure point who might bow to that sort of power more readily than Garhand would. It may always be a fight to bring Garhand around. Harriman, I don't know where she'll stand in this. Her kingdom is still relatively new, but she is definitely a sovereign.
Yeah, she's... I was going to say mean, then I realized that was rude, especially because we are unsure of where she is right now. but she knows her own mind. She's very strong.
That is certainly true. I appreciate you coming to visit, to talk, and I hope that things get better for you and your friends.
Thanks. I was gonna come check on you anyway to make sure that you had everything you needed. I'm sorry it turned into what it turned into. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Good
All
luck.
right. Thanks.
All right, so we will cut over to the ritual tower.
Yeah, on the walk over, Gebetto's gonna kind of just talk with Viltroth about, like, you know, whether Gillick's alive. Like,
just weather. Ooh, it's a hot day today.
just, you know,
Man, we got some heavy snow coming our way.
weather, sports.
It's snowing sideways.
You know, just gossip about town.
Windmills do not work that way. Good night.
No, about whether Gillick's, like, alive
Whether Gillick.
or, you know, you said he's, like, with the Shadow Lord. Like, I've been there. What do you mean with? Like, in cahoots or, like?
It is hard for me to say. There is a light that flickers, but it is dim. The Shadow Lord has had him in his reaches for a short time now, but he has not broken.
Man, he was leaning into it pretty hard, too, for a while. I don't know, man.
There is some part of him that has not given up, but I don't know that it can hold forever. I have spent my whole life running from the Shadow Lord. Literally from my birth. I have been built for this.
Yeah, it would have been cool if you were here to, like, talk Gillick through this stuff, but I understand. Glad you're here now. Do we need anybody else for this ritual that's going to happen here in the tower, or?
No, we should be okay. I would give you something. Something it seems, will no longer need.
I mean, is there no other way than to give yourself up here in a trade? Like, there's not anything else we can do?
If I do not take his place, the Shadow Lord will hunt him immediately, and then he will find all of us. If I take his place, I am I suspect, and I do not mean this in vanity, I have been a target of the Shadow Lord for far longer. I have evaded him for longer. I am a far more tantalizing prize, and it will buy you guys the time you need to escape.
Ooh, look at me, I'm Viltroth.
I'm a tasty treat.
Not to brag, but I'm a snack.
Right.
So, I would give you this. And he hands you the unicorn horn. I don't know what you would need this for, but maybe that's its best value. Is that right now, it is a blank slate, and you can use it for whatever you need.
You have no idea what I would have done for this a year ago. 2 years ago? What was it?
Two.
Well, 2 for us.
Oh,
In-game?
sure. In-game, yeah,
I would
probably
say
about a year.
like a full year.
Yeah, probably about a full year.
Yeah. Okay.
I always thought of it as, like, the same amount of time.
Well, that would be awful weird. Just like the way it fluctuates.
Stuff move fast.
We do like whole month and like 3-month arcs that are just one day in game. All right.
A lot of travel time.
Yeah, it's
like brings things up to speed.
Yeah, it's weirdly not analogous. There we go.
Yeah.
The reason that we come back from the ley lines at like random times is just to catch up.
Right.
Okay. And I believe I have everything else I need for conducting these rituals. So he makes his way into the tower.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Geppetto
you guys have
getting the
arrived.
sense that he like wants me away?
No.
Okay.
So you guys have arrived at the tower. Keth is standing there holding the RoboClug body. And Viltroth says, yes, that is cute, but I don't know what to do with that.
What? This is what we put in Clug in. I thought you were going to put him back.
That is a thing of metal and alchemy. That is not... I have no way to deal with those things. If I bring Clug back, it will be with the power that I wield, which is of necromancy.
Gets nervous, but just like nods.
I will give you one last opportunity to let go here. I am attuned to this crystal. I know he is in here. I can feel his soul within here. What I can do is bring that soul forth. I can allow it to manifest in this world. But if I do this, the form he takes will be a difficult one for him to be a part of this world in. He will survive. He will make memories. He will speak. His soul will be present. But he will be missing a part of him. He will be missing his corporeal self. He will be missing his life.
Wait, what? So you're saying we're going to make him a ghost?
A ghost is a close term to what I am capable of manifesting him as, yes.
Would he be able to like manipulate material things?
Not during the day.
Kath,
Cool.
Yeah.
is that? I know you got a weird connection with Clug.
Yeah.
Can you see if you can tap into that and see if that's what he wants?
Tap into that weird connection.
Yeah, like last time we talked, I was like, "Hey, we might have to do a necromantic thing."
Yeah, but
and he was,
let him know that he won't be able to touch nothing, and he's going to be a ghost and not a big sweet robot.
only during the day, apparently.
If he tries to...
At night, he can touch him, or like things.
All right, listen, I don't. Why are you gonna make it weird?
Like feel his body, like
Cap, stop making it weird, dude.
gets like touching his body.
No, I get it. I don't need a visual. Jesus,
Make it
dude.
weirder.
No, like this.
Geppetto is like crawling inside himself with with like discomfort at the whole situation.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, now that we have specifics on what his life would be, maybe he would change his mind.
The Clug that you would speak to in this crystal is not a Clug of cognition. He is not going to make... he's not going to weigh a set of facts against a rational decision.
He's not a cog plug.
He is a Clug of spirit, of soul. He will tell you how he feels. Not about specifics, but about
the sort of the general scope of things.
So he can't give informed consent. So I feel like I'm his power of attorney, and
I mean, it's pretty.
Hey,
much,
someone
yeah,
spot the
sounds
doctor
like
in
it.
the room. Can someone spot the
Right?
doctor in
Yeah.
the?
I just wish I could tell.
Hey, yeah. Who's ever taken care of someone in the hospital? I was like, geez, it might be Mike.
Right. It's all about the informed consent.
yeah.
Maybe a little close to the chest, but no, that sounds like pretty familiar.
I feel like they have laws like that in Numeritta.
Why would you think that?
Why would you think that?
There
Are there
progressive
necromancy
society.
laws?
I don't know.
Where's my power of attorney?
So Geppetto, it sounds like I got the feeling he wanted us to do whatever it takes. That's either literally what he said or the vibe I got during our conversation. And but
Oh god.
Yeah, but like Viltroth just said, dude, he's not gonna be rational about it or logical. And
right.
oh, Viltroth, what is the likelihood that Klug goes completely fucking insane and becomes a scary haunting ghost instead of a friendly neighborhood ghost?
This is Klug's soul manifest.
You say that like I should know what that means. I'm sorry.
Dum-dum.
I'm not a
Yeah. There's a silent dum-dum at the end of that.
necromancer.
right.
Geppetto chokes on the word a minute.
You're right. I'm sorry. The spirit that would manifest would not. It would be Klug. It would be Klug in its actions, in its thoughts, in its the way that it speaks, the way that it interacts. You would be interacting with Klug. It is unlikely you would find him a spooky haunting ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he no longer has his
Not just a
corporeal.
haunted ghost. A spooky hunter.
He no longer has his corporeal form. He'll be a ghost. He'll be spooky. I mean, I don't know how to put this any other way. He will be he will have a frightening visage.
As a guy who knew Klug for a super long time,
To be clear, I did not probably know Klug as I've probably known Klug. From now till then, a long time, obviously. But the time I actually interacted with Klug was very short before I, as you may recall, disappeared.
yeah, I just assumed y'all hung out a bit first before that
as
vision
you guys are
that we had.
talking, Asher kind of walks into the ritual room silently. His eyes are clearly puffy, and if you were to look, both of his knuckles are just bleeding profusely. And he walks in, and he's just he's reserved, and in a way that you probably haven't seen him before. And he, I've been fighting this the whole journey, but I don't think this is the right thing to do. I think we should let him go.
He wants to be here helping and be a part of the adventure, be a
And
part of the glory, and if he
And
can
I want him to be here and telling us everything's going to be okay and everything's going to be fine and that he's going to support us. But if someone gives you a last resort and then your last resort makes living worse than dying, would you choose that?
I don't. No, but I don't think that this existence is worse than dying, because we've seen what dying is, and it's nothing. You know, this way he gets to be a part of the crew.
But will he feel the same way I felt, which is like I should just give up, but he won't be able to?
Yeah, what if Klug wants to die, and once we turn him into this ghost?
We're choosing that he will never be able to. That's the decision that
unless someone kills him again.
Is that the case, Viltroth? Is there anything he can do to
off himself?
Just not be alive anymore?
It is not a choice that he cannot simply disincorporate. Well, he can do that, but he can't do it in the way we're talking now. He cannot cease to just pass over at his own discretion. But as Keth points out, you have fought spirits before and sent them beyond the pale to the world of necromancy, and that could happen to him as well.
I'll do whatever the group says, and because I feel like we don't all have to agree, but we have to, as a group, come to a decision. So whatever we decide, we decide. I don't want to bring him back and have him be worse. In having felt the weird calmness that is knowing that you're going to be other things. I just wanted to say my piece because I've been holding it in for the entire journey because I didn't want to believe it.
I think we need to get Constance and Genevera's opinions too.
I agree.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Viltroth tenses noticeably.
Dude.
You need to chill, bud.
She loves you, and she loves Klug, and hers might be the most important one of all of ours.
And I am abandoning her again.
Let's cross that when it comes, man. Like that. Don't.
I hate having to decide which people I love get to live and which get to die. I'm sorry I screamed at you, but I hate this.
I don't like it either. But you five, the world will not survive without you. You must do this. And if I have to... Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that once I'm done with Evian, I would walk to the ritual tower.
So you probably walk in just about while he is saying, if I have to give up myself to make sure the five of you can do this, to stop Gorm, I will, because I can't do what you are doing. It has to be you.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry for walking out earlier, Viltroth. I'm sorry. I know that you had a hard decision to make, and I appreciate that you made that hard decision. So now we can just focus on saving Klug and saving Gillick and move forward there. So hard decisions out of the way today. Let's just keep our eyes.
This is the best bit of this fucking episode.
It really is.
He says,
let's just keep our eyes forward and let's do it.
I am sorry as well. I was not angry with you. I was frustrated with what this meant for Constance.
Also, I was yelling at you, and I get that.
And also you were yelling at me, yes.
Yeah, but you were yelling back.
Yes,
so. Let's move on.
Let's not point fingers. And Gebetto points a finger toward
at Asher.
toward the toward like the Master's Hall, and he's hoping that that's like 120 feet away, so that he can send message to Redbridge and ask her to come to the tower.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, we're gonna need you to come up to the tower and bring your decision-making pants with you.
We kind of fill in Genevere, or Asher tries to fill in Genevere about his feelings towards the fact that if we bring back Klug, Jen, we will he'll be basically a ghost. And not basically, I mean he'll be a ghost.
Oh, jeez.
Like he won't have a physical form. He'll be like a thing that we've fought before.
Well, if we got a werewolf in this castle right now, we'd have the holy trio.
Wait, who else is in the castle?
Damn.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Oh, real fast. Oh gosh, it's been so long. King Redridge from Perenith is here.
Has someone got her tea?
Yes, she is fully taken care of. I made sure that she had that. So,
full of tea.
Yeah. I don't know if she drinks tea. I didn't.
What kind of person doesn't drink tea? That's ridiculous.
Vampire.
Not a person.
What?
There's a vampire here too.
King Redridge is. That's why I made the joke, because I forgot you didn't know. Sorry. Gosh, guys, a lot happened.
Wait.
No, I'm just gonna say
king...
this for a hot second.
Hold on.
I thought you said Redbridge. You go.
The King Redridge is a vampire?
Yes, and she's our honored guest right now. She's very cool. She's probably the coolest person I've ever met in my whole life. She's.
Puts a finger up again.
Excuse me. Yes, but she's here. Perenith has fallen. Perenith is not hers anymore. Real tough time. So she was hiding in Bradmont. We are giving her refuge, a place to stay. Also, I talked to King Greywood in Bradmont, and he is totally on board to talk to the other kings when we get there. So that was a good thing I did. I actually achieved the goal that we set out to do. It's just that I didn't bring Gillick back with me, and I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault. Asher's looks at Genevere. Is I'm sure it's not your fault. You're too good for it to. You're the smartest of us. You probably did the best you could.
I did. I didn't have a chance to do anything. I did fight off an army of orcs though, and talked with an orc god. And Kath, really? We need to chat later, but it's not important right now. Also, okay. I flew. Anyway,
that's a lot.
And did a lot more than us.
Gebetto looks out the window to see if Redbridge is coming.
So Redbridge comes in through the door slowly. She has also been. Her eyes are also. Her hard, steely eyes are now puffy and red. Wow. And she sort of steps in, quietly says, "What do you need, Gebetto?"
So, you know Kef, you know Klug more than any of the rest of us.
Well,
not the time, Kath, but we get it. We know what you're going to say.
Longer than any of the rest of us. Gebetto nods at Kath.
Kath nods back.
Viltroth has a way to bring Klug back incorporeally. All I know about Klug is how much he likes the physical world. Is this an existence he would want?
What's his alternative?
Nothing.
Yeah, it would be the end of the road, death.
What would you pick, Geppetto?
Oh God. I'd have been real bummed to be brought back in the first place. But that's what he asked for when he was in Keth's head. Which again was a place where he didn't have a physical body, and all he wanted was to be physical again.
Asher like puts his hand on Geppetto's shoulder. This is the most affectionate you've ever seen Asher.
Yeah, Geppetto like looks around like something is coming.
I get it.
He's like the only time I've ever been touched by Asher is when he's like winding up for a fastball special as like a large animal. What is going on? But no, he's like, I wouldn't want to come back.
And neither would I, and that's kind of where I am.
This might be hugely coincidental and maybe not relevant, but I did just have a conversation with a vampire and kind of asked her that question, and she said that if she were given the choice, she would never choose to be burdened with what she is burdened with. So
Convenient storytelling.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Lady
I'm
J,
sorry.
this is a ghost.
you're right. No, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell your story after. If you want,
But I just
let's get back. Let's get back on target.
it's neither choice is great, but is it the alternative? You know.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Would you want it for yourself? And for me, it's no.
I mean, to your point, Genevera, I wonder if she knows or knew, like, what death is. Like, what is the other option? Because if she was making this, would she rather be a vampire and live forever? Or would she rather die? You know, I don't know that she has all the information.
Yeah, no, I know it's not a perfect. I was just saying.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I feel like, I don't know, but Klug has all the information. And I got the vibe. He just wants to be back. Like, he can take form at night. He can fuck shit up at night. Like, that's... I think he'll be happier like that than he is right now. I don't know.
Should we vote, or is that?
let's see what Redbridge has to
cold?
say. It looks like she's about to talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Asher doesn't know what to do. He's like, yeah, sure, you're right. He cut people off. It's fine.
It doesn't sound like a life I would want to lead, but I have never really fully understood that man in either.
You've never fully understood Klug?
Yeah. But it doesn't sound like a life anymore. It sounds like hiding, running.
It's prolonging. It's a form. It's not nothing. It's something.
It's stalling.
That's all we're doing. Anyone, right? Like,
Keth, after this is all over, I just keep getting the weird feeling that I'm just going to go back to the ley line of necromancy anyways, not by my own choice. Like, the only reason I'm here is because I'm important. If I wasn't important, would you guys have come back and get me? He's important. But it sounds weird. I don't know if I wanted to come back in a lot of ways. I was resisting it because no one wants to die, but it's not. It doesn't feel like anything, and that's the worst part. But it's also better than being tortured forever.
How about this, guys? Let's bring him back. Let's bring him back, and if he wants to die, I'll do it. Maybe. What do you guys think?
Woof.
Viltroth, I have a question. Mm-hmm. If he comes back as this ghost, will he be? I know you said he won't really be Klug, but is there a chance he's like an evil?
I thought the same thing. I asked the same question.
I'm sorry.
No. Turns out he's, according to Viltroth, he's going to be the same guy. I mean, I have the same reservations as you.
Sorry, I missed that part of the conversation.
Yeah, no, you were.
You weren't here.
Yeah, you were telling your story. But yeah, no, I was worried about the same thing.
Yeah.
You see that, guys? I'm not as dumb as I thought I was.
You guys watch too
many
plays.
I watch too many plays. Me, the barbarian.
I've read a lot of books.
If Genevera had the same idea, that means I might have been onto something.
Like, usually when you bring people back from the dead in books, it turns out really bad.
That's just to sell more books. Not realistic.
I mean,
it's all a scam by big Libros.
What about that option, guys? Because once he's back at his soul, I imagine he'll be able to. Sounds like make informed decisions.
If we pull this trigger, we got to ask him quick. Because if he gets to a point where, he is a scary ghost instead of a friendly ghost, that makes me really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I me too.
Still vote against it, but that's really. I've said my piece, I think.
I feel like
I wish Gillick were here.
Yeah.
Constance. Does that sound like it honors Klug appropriately?
To give him one last beating? No, that sounds pretty much what Klug would look for.
Yeah.
No, I mean to
I'm being serious.
Let him come
I think
back
that's precisely what he'd be looking for.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Hooray!
Viltroth nods.
I think we all needed to be on the same page if we were going to vote to kill him.
Yep.
I think it's okay for us to be conflicted if we're bringing him back.
And Keth will kill him.
Viltroth focuses energy into the crystal. He closes his eyes. He mutters a few words under his breath, and you watch as the crystal begins to glow. There is a flash that emits from it, and the crystal goes dim, while what almost looks like one of the koshu is in Viltroth's hand. And he pushes it out. It hovers through the air for a moment, and then it almost like it begins to coalesce mist around it as the mist falls down to the ground in heavier and heavier waves of just like this large white mist pouring off of this glowing orb as it lowers down into the center of this this churning, swirling, shadowy mist. And then there's another flash, and from it rises up a figure made completely of this gossamer mist. And it turns its head, and its glowing red eyes with its large, spiking teeth turns to stare at you, and it says,
"Did it work? Am I back?"
Asher had his weapon drawn.
The visage is terrifying.
Yeah. I fucking knew it! I told you it was gonna be a spooky ghost! And Geppetto pulls out my swishy, the all-seeing blade.
And Klug goes,
"Our spooky ghost, where?"
Fucking Klug, is that you?
Yes?
You are the spooky ghost.
What? You're hideous.
Well, what do you mean I'm a spooky ghost? I was just in Kef's head.
Wait.
You've been in a lot of other places since then, pal.
Briefly, you were in that suit of armor as like a weird robot thing, and you lost your memory several times, and then you were in the crystal that's on the ground that looks like it had magic in it, and it doesn't anymore. And now you're this.
He sort of slowly turns and looks around the room, and then he stops. He goes,
Oh, Viltroth did this, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Well, I figure you guys probably didn't have too many other choices, huh?
No.
I mean,
None, actually.
yeah, we tried everything else. It was this or let you go. Did we do the right thing?
What do you think?
It's gonna take some getting used to, I think.
But
Yeah.
you're not mad at us?
You're not
Mad at you? What? What do you mean mad at you? You saved my life. Kind of.
Yeah, that's the kind of part was the part that we were.
You
were
can
upset.
touch. Yeah. Wait, Anthony, what time of day is it?
I think it's probably still like mid-afternoon.
Don't go outside. Don't go outside. You probably can't. Do
Viltroth says, actually, specters can go outside. You just will lose all corporality and you will be invisible.
that. Oh, that's gonna be annoying.
That doesn't sound so bad.
You didn't say that earlier.
Well, just in the daylight. In the daylight, he will be invisible and incorporeal. At night, he will be as close to physical as he will ever be.
Spooky.
And he'll also glow, which might be annoying.
Probably hard to sleep.
Seems minor, though.
Go sleep.
Clug, you are now a soul made manifest. You do not have a physical being. Your link to your memory will be tenuous, but you will have one. You will have a continuous through of your memories from now on. It will be the memories of your life that will begin to fade, though those that are part of your being will continue on with you. You will always be you.
Oh. And Asher starts looking at a Dune song, remembering it's sort of incorporeal. He's like, well, then why isn't this invisible during the day?
Because it's...
When I pull this out in battle, shouldn't this be invisible?
It's not about
It's
you,
'cause it's
dude.
so
We're
small.
talking about
Sorry.
Clug.
Sorry. I got distracted.
You can tell your story later. Jeez.
Damn.
He says, you will go on now. Truly indefinitely, unless you are killed. And Clug says,
Yeah, by me.
I always figured that's how I go anyway, so, should be fine.
By me.
Not specifically by Kef, but just by being killed, you know?
And that, as grim as it is to say, always an option that if you find that you don't like this form anymore, since you can't naturally go away, Keth said he'd do.
Don't worry, Asher, I'll do the same for you if you request it.
And like Asher, like not like Asher doesn't get that was a joke. Like he's just like,
Thanks.
yeah, wow, what a good guy, great guy.
No.
That seems really dope of him.
Wow. Thank you so much, Viltroth. Like, this is awesome.
I have very much appreciated the time that I have spent with the five of you, off and on, sometimes, not always, but for the most part. And I think that the world will be in very good hands. Constance, I am so sorry that this is how this had to go. And she just, like, turns around and walks away.
Can we do this in the morning, though?
I don't think that's a good idea.
How about after dinner?
I think if we wait any longer, we put him at risk.
You gotta take 10 minutes and go be with her, dude.
Yeah. Give Gillick is a strong man. Give him 10 minutes, he'd give you 10.
Yeah, he would want you to have this.
We don't need a rush. You don't get this opportunity a lot, man. And if this might be your last opportunity, savor it.
Flames burst up at his feet in purple and black. They start to climb his body as they burn upward. He shakes his head. He says, I'm sorry, I can't. And the flames consume him.
Whoa!
And as the flames sort of burn away and die down, in their place stands Gillick.
Hey adventurers, DM Anthony here again. I just want to remind you that there are lots of ways to support the show. Head on over to patreon.com/adventureinc. Tell your friends about the show. Rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Links and more can be found at adventureinc.podbean.com. Thanks everyone, we'll see you next week.
Okay. Let's get started.
Okay.
I'm a bird.
It's a visual gag.
It's just that was just
Steph
really
has
cool.
a blanket that she is using to imitate wings and saying she's a bird.
Okay.
Steph is, in fact,
As
now a
birds
bird.
do.
They can't
Cool.
tell the difference.
Wow.
It's a recording.
Steph has turned into a bird. Oh my god,
bird-like.
guys, if you could see this. She has grown a beak.
Yep.
There's feathers popping out of
Just-
her skull.
she's losing
Just
the
her skull.
ability to
Totally her
Bitches.
skull.
Somehow hotter than even before.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's
Super
wild.
weird.
It's literally
didn't-
wild.
Yeah, I
Maybe
didn't
she
know I was
always
into
had
this.
that. I don't know.
Yeah, but
But
I'm
now
okay
I
with
do.
it.
It looks like Mike and Steph have hung up. Okay. We'll just have to wait, guys. Sorry.
Oh,
about
guys,
this.
why did you leave? I don't understand.
All right.
Yeah, come back.
Let's get started.
I wish Anthony wasn't in control of editing.
Click.
It could all be erased so easily.
Gang's all back together.
Yeah, you know what? I've
This
changed
is
my
what
mind.
you wanted. This is what you wanted,
Yeah,
Anthony.
we're still split up.
Half of you hang up right now.
Doesn't matter which half.
Well, which half?